Welcome to our series of tutorials on Logic 2, a brand new application to debug your hardware using your Saleae Logic Analyzer. You can download the Logic 2 application from the link shown here. In this tutorial, we'll learn about capturing data. First, let's connect our Logic Analyzer to the PC using its included USB cable. For this tutorial, we'll also connect channel 0 to a 5-volt square wave. Now let's head to the Capture Settings panel. We'll configure channel 0 for digital data capture. For future reference, you can also enable other channels for data collection here. The sampling rate, which is displayed in samples per second, determines the speed at which the Logic Analyzer will record data. In this example, we'll use a sampling rate of 500 megasamples per second, or in other words, 500 million samples per second. Please note that in cases where USB bandwidth availability may be limited, such as when other high-speed USB devices are also connected to your computer, you may want to decrease the sampling rate. The drop-down box to the right allows you to select the voltage range of the incoming signal. Specifically, this setting will adjust the digital voltage threshold of the Logic Analyzer. For example, the 1.2 volt setting allows you to measure 1.2 volt signals by setting the digital threshold to half that value, or in other words, 0.6 volts. Similarly, 1.8 and 3.3 volts will set the threshold to 0.9 and 1.65 volts respectively. In this example, we'll be measuring a 0 to 5 volt square wave, so let's select the 3.3 plus volts option. Let's also set up the software to take an analog capture of channel 0. Here you'll notice the values to the right of the sampling rate. This indicates that by selecting this specific sampling rate, the digital sampling rate will also change to the value shown. Notice the digital value change. Please keep in mind that while Logic supports many digital and analog sampling rate combinations, it does not support all combinations. Let's go back and select 50 megasamples per second for analog. This will change the digital sampling rate back to 500 megasamples per second. We have 3 modes of data capture: looping, timer, and trigger. For this tutorial, we'll use the timer method, as this provides the simplest form of data capture. There are 2 settings you should be aware of. The stop recording after setting will set the duration of the capture. We'll set that to 2 seconds. The memory buffer setting will set the maximum RAM you would like to allocate for holding the recorded data. For our PC, we have about 4 gigabytes of available RAM. We'll set this to 1 gigabyte, as this amount should be more than enough to hold our 2-second long capture. Now let's start our capture. Once the capture is completed, we can navigate the capture by using our mouse scroll wheel to zoom in and out, and by dragging with your left mouse button to pan the data. As an alternative, you can also use the up and down arrow keys and the left and right arrow keys to zoom and pan respectively. For more ways to interact with your captured data, you can also open our keyboard shortcuts window, as this will show you several more interaction capabilities of our software. Now that we've finished our capture, we'll show you 2 ways to save your data. First, if you want to keep your recorded data and you plan on taking a new data capture, you'll want to create a new capture session by clicking on the plus icon at the bottom. This will allow you to start a new capture while keeping your previously recorded data. Second, if you'd like to save a current session tab to a file, navigate to the Preferences options and click Save Current tab. Once saved, you can reopen it by clicking Open Capture. This concludes our first basic tutorial on how to use Logic 2. By now, you should have the ability to configure your capture as well as record some data and save your recorded data. This should be enough to get you started with the most basic features, but that's just the tip of what Logic 2 is capable of. We can't wait to go over some more advanced features in upcoming videos. As always, if you have any specific questions or feedback, visit our Logic 2 forum in the link here.